I don't understand. I just don't understand it. What do you mean? Dude, the one night Dixie Carter decides to give power to someone else. I mean, don't get me wrong. EC3 could get the job done completely, but I mean, come on now. I'm your guy!
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Hello everybody, my name is Connor, aka Ow! That moment when you realize Dixie Carter didn't check your updates on your LinkedIn profile. OKayFabe! Welcome back to another fun and intriguing TNA Impact Wrestling review right here on OneWrestling.com and the OneWrestling.com YouTube channel for another fun and intriguing TNA Impact Wrestling review with yours truly, the OneWrestling.com TNA Impact Wrestling reviewer, Connor, aka Ow! That one actually really hurt. OKayFabe! Alright guys and gals, we got a lot of things to cover in this particular Impact Wrestling TNA review. I am really getting tongue-tied today. I don't know what the heck's wrong with me. I think it's just because I'm overwhelmed. The fact that Dixie didn't choose... I know, I'm not supposed to get emotional, but... Dixie, listen, I'm just saying, if you want a true visionary, a mind for the masses, someone who really wants to take Impact Wrestling to that next level, hit me up. That's a horrible way to kind of ask for a job, isn't it? Explains a lot about my resume. Anyway, guys, we're going to talk a lot about what happened on this past Impact Wrestling from May 31st, 2016. But don't forget, we always like to hear what you guys have to say. Hit us up on the various social media, or of course, links are in the description box below, or hit a comment down in the description area. All that's down, just right down here. It's just easy. It's a one-way stop. And also, tweet at Dixie Carter because we want to make sure that I get, just if you guys have any pull or string, if you can kind of get the job, call me. Alright, whoa, as I'm hitting my microphone and everything. Anyway, Dixie Carter kicks off this past Impact Wrestling with, of course, letting us know to an unknown person, so not really letting us know that I think about it out loud, that someone else will be in charge of Impact Wrestling tonight. Inside the ring, we have the Miracle Mike Bennett and Maria Kanellis Bennett, who are basically trying to pitch their claim and make their claim that they should be the ones to run tonight's show. I mean, come on. Maria's already the leader of the Knockouts. It just makes sense for the Miracle to kind of take over, but no. Alas, we get EC3, who comes out with not one, but three pieces of bad news for the Miracle Mike Bennett. First, he will be facing EC3 at Slammiversary. Second, he's the one in charge tonight. I know, I gotta update the LinkedIn profile. We've already been over this. Focus. And three, he will be picking Mike Bennett's opponent later on tonight. Or rather, he was going to, until Bennett continued to argue and said, I'm gonna make you clean some toilets instead. Ay caramba. And Maria, even though she comes to defense of her man, I don't know, that sounded weird for me too. I digress. Maria comes out to defend her man, but instead has to face Gail Kim later on tonight, where if Gail Kim defeats Maria, Maria is fired. Wait, does that mean is that a possibility of me getting a job there? Look, I know it's not the GM of the night, but I mean, leader of the Knockouts. I'm just saying, there's multiple qualifications and multiple titles that you can give me. Someone just send my resume to Dixie Carter. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm asking for. But anyway, Maria and Mike Bennett are not the only ones who are upset with EC3 being in charge of. Bobby Lashley comes out mocking EC3 about how he'll take him out soon enough, but EC3 says, instead I'm going to let you and your opponent at Slammiversary, Drew Galloway, work things out. It's Pick Your Poison week on Impact Wrestling, and instead we get the first matchup between Lashley and Bram. Now this matchup was actually more hard-hitting than I thought, with ultimately Lashley losing via disqualification to decide, well, maybe a steel chair would do all the trick. I honestly thought Bram was actually going to get the win on this one, but ultimately Bobby Lashley using the steel chair to get the disqualification. As the referee Earl Hebner tries to stop him, to no avail, Drew Galloway eventually finds his way into the ring to stop the madness. But the surprises don't end there, as Bram lays there practically broken from the massive steel chair shots and multiple spears. I think I lost count after 17. Eli Drake. Oh, I love that name. It's just so good. Eli Drake's quickly becoming one of my favorites, in case you guys can't tell. Eli Drake cashes in his Feast or Fired briefcase, and despite a valiant effort from Bram, cashes in and successfully becomes the new TNA King of the Mountain champion. I am so pumped. I'm a big fan of Eli Drake, so I think Eli versus Bram is going to be a very interesting matchup, and especially where they're kind of making Bram babyface now. I'm not saying I'm not against Bram being babyface, it's just kind of still getting a little used to it. Still like some growing pains, if you will. Unlike those last growing pains, which more were like, well, I'm getting too much into my personal life. Anyway, Eli Drake, new King of the Mountain champion. Very interested to see how this feud goes with Bram, if they're going to continue on. And go again, let us know your thoughts down in the comment section below. I don't know what that just whole thing was, but anyway, EC3 and Mike Bennett are doing these hilarious backstage segments where Bennett is cleaning toilets, and I thought there was a really funny one where Earl Hebner was coming out and I'm not going to spoil it. Go look at it. It's just, you can just tell they're having fun. Speaking of having fun, Bromans versus Rockstar Spud and Tyrus in a tag team #1 contenders match. Winners will face Decay for the tag team titles at Slammiversary. So Raquel, what is with these knockouts? I'm telling you. Look, I'm just saying is that, #1, the match was interesting, not just for Raquel. I mean, just completely, that's not the top reason that, I'm sorry, what were we talking about again? I got really distracted by my wall. You don't look at my wallpaper. Just don't. Just trust me, it's nothing to do. Okay, maybe there's one picture of Raquel. All right, I'm getting off topic. Anyway, point being, Raquel is now with the Bromans as a way to inspire them. I mean, great inspiration. But the more interesting thing that I thought was the fact that they're making Rockstar Spud and Tyrus a tag team. Now, I was mentioning before, I actually like Tyrus' singles run. I actually like him as an individual wrestler, and I don't think he's capable of quite a lot of interesting things. I just didn't expect them to go the tag team route. Again, not saying it's a bad thing, just didn't a curveball, if you will. Very intriguing way, and I was very impressed with the tag team matchup. More importantly, the finish where Raquel distracted Tyrus long enough for Bromance to get the win over Rockstar Spud. To me, this was. To me, I was all for it. So we got the Bromans facing off against Decay for the tag team titles at Slammiversary. So I like the Bromans. To be honest, I like every tag team that they have right now. So I mean, win-win in my book. Swoosh. Although it would be a really big win in my book is if I got a job at TNA. I'm just going to drop that and just pick that right up there. Anyway, Maria out next with Ali and Sienna. I'm going to get that name wrong. But EC3 tells them to hit the bricks. After some intense back and forth with Maria pleading that the matchup between her and Gail Kim doesn't happen, EC3 decides to make this a bigger profile match for Slammiversary instead. I'm not sure if the stipulation will still hold true, but to me, this was kind of a bit of a head scratcher. Only because I felt like you could have had Maria versus Gail Kim for one episode of Impact, and then have Ali and Cena kind of do like the switcheroo screw job, and then that's when EC3 makes the rematch at Slammiversary where they're banned from ringside. That was just the way I would have done it. But instead, we did get Gail Kim and Jade against Cena and Ali. The matchup was pretty good. It was just odd to me to see Jade and Gail Kim on the same team, but at the same time it made a great dynamic between the two of them. I'm very interested to see if you guys think they should bring back the Knockouts tag team titles. I know it's a championship we haven't seen in a long time, but to maybe stir the pot and make things more interesting in the Knockouts division. What do you guys think? I want to know your thoughts down below. Hit us up on Twitter as well, too, and let us know. Do you think they should bring back the Knockouts tag team titles? I'm just curious what you guys have to say. I'm always curious to hear what you guys have to say. Anyway, after Bennett finally snaps on EC3 for all the crazy crap, choice of words, that he's been forced to do, EC3 says, all right, you know what, fine. You're going to wrestle in a match. You're going to wrestle a match against James Storm. Yes. Break out the beers, break out the six-packs, break out probably the kegs at this point. I mean, James Storm drinks a lot of beer. Let's be fair here, folks. As James Storm took on Mike Bennett. The matchup was a very solid, great way to have a really good matchup between these two. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. Bennett with a quick roll-up, which I kind of saw coming only because, again, Storm not really doing anything major as far as in a major storyline or feud or program at the moment. But, of course, EC3 cutting a scathing promo on Bennett to only have him turn around into a last-call super kick to close out the segment. So I thought it was a great way for EC3 to kind of have, get the momentum over on Bennett and again continue their build to their matchup at Slammiversary. By the way, and I think I mentioned this in the last week's episode, last week's review, I am a huge fan of Al Snow. Have been for a while, but this particular segment just made, God bless that man. Al Snow coming out with his Tribunal tag team. Again, phenomenal idea. If you guys didn't catch it last week, I was a big fan of the fact that he's bringing these other two kids in. Until Grado and Sherrick talk about how Al Snow used weapons in their matchup last week, but Snow is claiming that it didn't happen. CGI magic editing and kids with these crazy apps. I love Al Snow as a heel. Anyways, Grado and Shera storm the ring to take out the Tribunal. Snow, of course, comes around back with a steel chair and cleans the house with the Tribunal. I'm really digging this for multiple reasons, and I said this last week. Adding the Tribunal into the matchup is a very key part because it takes the focus away from Al Snow. Again, Mr. Al Snow fan here wants to see more of him in the action, especially with the, have you seen how ripped he's looked lately? Holy cow. Man could squeeze a melon just in his arms, whereas mine, just get up a little. There's muscles there, all right? There's muscles there. Sup, Raquel? It's just a really simple and very great way to continue their progress. And I'm going to expect the Tribunal versus Grado at Shera at Slammiversary. And I'm really to see where this is going to keep going. I'm intrigued. I'm fully invested and very curious to see where things go from here. The last Pick Your Poison matchup was Drew Galloway against the Decay in a handicap matchup. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys and say I have a little bit of mixed feelings about this one, and this is the only reason why. Matchup was great. Lashley interfering towards the end, accidentally spearing Abyss. By the way, still getting used to Abyss's face with the paint thing. That's just like if I ever tried to put on makeup. There you go. I'm just talking like basic eyeliner. That's how I'd look. Lashley spearing Abyss ultimately to inadvertently help Drew Galloway. Drew Galloway hitting the Claymore, big boot on Crazy Steve to get the pinfall victory. And of course, build up more animosity between Lashley and Drew Galloway, which I'm all 110% for. My only slight critique would be that I wish it was just against one of the tag team champions. Preferably Abyss, and here's the reason why. I'm always iffy when you put champions against champions because ultimately if there's a clean victory, and again this was kind of a not so clean victory, but I just fear that sometimes putting other champions in that scenario make them look weaker. I know that's kind of a bit of a stretch, and maybe that's just me. Maybe just because I'm really digging the tag team division in TNA right now. Maybe that's just because I'm really digging the Decay right now, and I don't want to see them lose. And I'm just saying that not out of fear that Rosemary will sneak up behind me with Janice. Great, there goes my ability to sleep now. Now I'm going to be paranoid the entire night. Thank you guys. Yeesh. Anyway, that was literally my only critique of that one. I wish it was kind of more Drew Galloway versus Abyss, especially, again, they could have built up the fact that Abyss was a former world champion and his history in TNA. That's literally my only tiny critique of that actual matchup. Other than that, loved everything about it. We ended the entire segment and episode of Impact Wrestling with the confrontation between Matt and Jeff Hardy. Throughout the night, they were teasing that Matt was bringing Jeff back to where it all began, which ultimately brought them back to the very first wrestling ring, if I'm not mistaken, to where they started their wrestling career. As Matt, in his cryptic Phantom of the Opera-ish character, decides to ask Jeff to sign on the dotted line, Rebby comes out and throws a stuffed baby at Jeff, distracting him long enough for Matt to hit him in the back of the head with a bottle, and then do a side effect through the table, which, by the way, looked really painful when they did it, to close out and end things with Brother Nero to close out the show. So, this Impact Wrestling was very interesting. There was a lot of things that I liked about it. I'm not going to sit here and try to sugarcoat things with you guys. There were a lot of things I did like about it. I thought that Lashley and Bram was awesome. Eli Drake being King of the Mountain champion. I'm so for that right now. I thought the EC3 Mike Bennett promos with the toilet thing were pretty funny, and Bennett versus Storm was always a positive in my book. The knockouts did confuse me a little bit this week, and the only reason I say they confused me is because, again, personal opinion, I would have had Gail Kim versus Maria had the matchup. Tease that fact that Maria might have gotten fired on that particular Impact Wrestling episode, especially where Bennett was getting the victory over James Storm anyway, and Maria ultimately would have saved her job as the Knockouts, the leader of the Knockouts division. I would have had Allie and Sienna kind of interfere and then again announce the rematch at Slammiversary. But we're still going to get Gail Kim and Maria at Slammiversary anyway, so I'm still all in favor for that. The Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy stuff, I'm not going to lie, can perplex me a little bit, only because I guess I'm still getting used to the Matt Hardy character. It's no doubt Matt Hardy has changed his character very radically in TNA since starting his feud with Jeff. I'm not saying I'm completely against it yet, it's just that I still need a little time to kind of soak it in and truly kind of wrap my head around exactly what is going to happen, what's going, as far as where this is going to go. I ultimately think that Matt versus Jeff Hardy at Slammiversary will be the final matchup between the two, at least for the long term, as it compares to other feuds and rivalries, because I'm still interested in EC3 and Bennett. I'm still very interested in Drew Galloway and Bobby Lashley. I just want to know what's going to happen after Slammiversary, as all we are. I can't talk tonight, as we all are. So, with that being said, what did you guys think of this past Impact Wrestling on Pop TV? I want to know your thoughts, and the entire OneWrestling.com family wants to know your thoughts as well, folks. Guys, we're on Twitter, we're on the social media, we are everywhere right for you. Let us know your thoughts on the various social media on Twitter. All the links will be down in the description box below. And of course, let us know in the comment section down below on this video, what did you guys think of Impact Wrestling this past week, and what are your thoughts leading into Slammiversary? Are you guys interested in Slammiversary? Do you guys, what are you guys looking forward to about their big anniversary pay-per-view, which is, by the way, a day away from my birthday? You didn't hear that. You didn't hear anything like that. And of course, don't forget to tweet Dixie Carter and help me get a job over there. Listen, just saying, profile LinkedIn has been updated and up to code and up to speed. Thank you guys again for watching. Again, continue to appreciate love and support. Hit that like and subscribe button right down there if you guys haven't done so already. Make sure you follow myself at OKayFabe over on Twitter, and check out my YouTube channel where I do various YouTube-related wrestling discussion on the world of wrestling. That's a totally redundant sentence. Listen, I'm just still upset that Dixie didn't add me as the GM this night. Just say, hashtag OKayFabe for GM. Also, make sure to follow the entire OneWrestling.com family on Twitter. All their links will be down there below, including at One Wrestling, and of course, the legendary, the iconic Bill Apter at Apter One Wrestling. Thank you guys again for watching. Appreciate the continued love and support. Take care. And to quote Bill Apter, we will see you at the matches. By the way, killer book.